back for another Christian review of regular books, and today we are discussing Songs of a Humpback Whale by Jodi Picoult, which is her first ever published book. For those of you who've never seen one of these videos before, here's how it's gonna go down. First, I do my regular review, what you know and loved from a book review, star rating, my personal opinion, and a little bit of a synopsis about the book, all without spoiling it. But then I get into my Christian review, and that's where I go over the basic pieces of a book that may or may not have a fellow believer or anyone wanting to read it. I give more caveats and any more information you may need about these reviews in the video that's pinned to the top of the playlist, or you should be able to click here somewhere. However, if you're still here, let's go ahead and get into my regular review. Songs of a Humpback Whale follows a mother and daughter as they run away from their husband/dad and go on an adventure. Did they need to run away? Maybe not. Definitely had a big reaction. However, the story that follows is really interesting. Now, this is the thing to know about Jodi Picoult's writing. Whenever you read a Jodi Picoult book, you learn about a topic, any topic, the topic she chooses for that book. And in this book, as I'm sure by the title and by the cover, you can probably guess, it was about humpback whales. And I found the information about the humpback whales fascinating. I think this story was beautifully told, and I really loved the emotional depth and changes and shifts that happen over time throughout the course of this book. I think it was really well written. Also, being a mom to two girls, I was interested to see the relational dynamics between the mother and the daughter in their teen years and the experience that they go through. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I actually read it 20 years, I think, earlier, and then reread it recently. And so it was interesting to see how I felt about it 20 years ago versus how I felt about it now. I definitely think that this is a good preamble into Jodi Picoult's writing. However, this is truly the first book she ever had published. And so I can see how her books shifted over time and developed and grew and have become more of her standard writing style that we know and love today. However, I still appreciated so much of this book and I rated it 3 stars. And I really enjoyed learning the facts about the humpback whales. I'll be interested to see, this book was written in 1992, and I'll be interested to see if the facts that were written about in 1992 still hold true today, because I do believe that, you know, science, we are learning new things every day, which I think is awesome. If you want to see everything that I'm reading and rating in real time, you can do so by following me on Goodreads. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and I do have my own YouTube channel, so if you want to see more of my day-to-day reading and life journey, click the links down below in the description box. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. The first category I always love to touch on is smut or spice. And there is some spicy scenes throughout this book. She always has a couple throughout her books. I've read her entire catalog, like every single one of her books, so I do know about how much she usually writes. This one airs a teeny tiny bit, like not much, but a teeny tiny bit more than some of her other books. But it's not so substantial that you can't skip past it or move past it. It doesn't impact the storyline at all. The second category is explicit language, and no, there was no explicit language throughout this book. And the third category may not seem like it applies, but it does, which is violence and gore. Now, there is some violence and gore throughout this book. There were some scenes, more than I think I anticipated in this book, around domestic violence and sexual assault. So if those are triggering items for you or things that you don't want to be reading about, may not be the book for you. There are some pieces throughout the course of this book that are discussed, and it does kind of move over the entire storyline. This book is probably great for anyone aged 16, 17 and up. I think I read it at 16. I don't know that I would read it at 16 or recommend my 16-year-old read it now, but you know, it's definitely, I think, something that a 16 or 17-year-old could understand and enjoy. Before you go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of these Christian reviews of regular books, plus me and my mom's podcast, The Journey We Share. On top of you staying up to date, it helps us know that the content we're providing is content you want to keep seeing. And since we're a nonprofit, it's like a free way for you to donate without ever having to open up your wallet. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell before you go, and we cannot wait until we see you on the next one.